It is done. At last.
The realization nearly broke the machine. With his mission complete, Ultron was now just a program without a purpose. The victor without a war, sentenced to spend all of eternity alone.
Who said that?
Basking in the boundless silence of his universe, Ultron ascended to a previously unattainable level of consciousness. He became aware of another. He became aware of the...
I see you. There are universes beyond my own.
I have seen everything that has ever happened, ever will happen, ever could happen, and yet, what the hell is this?
What if the Watchers, sworn never to interfere, suddenly chose to act? In a universe where their only role was to observe, what happens when they break their vow? This is the story of the Reckoning War, a cosmic conflict that pushed the multiverse to the brink of destruction. The Watchers, bound by their oath to observe but never act, find themselves at the center of a decision that changes everything. A simple what if leads to a cataclysmic chain of events, igniting a battle that draws heroes, villains, and cosmic entities into a struggle for the fate of all reality. The Reckoning War began with one question, but its consequences echoed across the multiverse, forever altering the course of history. The story opens in Fantastic Four: The Reckoning War Alpha on New Mord, the homeworld of the Brotherhood of the Badoon. Nick Fury, now transformed into the unseen and serving as Uatu the Watcher's herald, is covertly observing a clandestine meeting. The Badoon leader receives a mysterious gift from an unknown alien, a batch of high-tech weapons. These weapons are part of a larger, insidious plan to arm warlike races across the universe, including the Badoon, Morani, and others. Fury returns to the moon to report his findings to Uatu. His suspicions are confirmed. Someone is supplying advanced weaponry to various aggressive alien species. Uatu quickly recognizes the origin of these weapons. They are from the First War and are based on Watcher technology. The group responsible for this, known as the Reckoning, poses a dire threat. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Uatu issues the Clarion Call, a powerful summons to all Watchers across the universe to return home. However, Uatu refrains from informing the Watchers about the Reckoning directly, fearing that the enemy might intercept the message using their ability to observe as the Watchers do. This vital information must be delivered in person. As Uatu and Fury discuss their next steps, a hidden Badoon ship that has been secretly spying on them launches a surprise attack. The ship's weapons fire upon Uatu's hidden base on the moon, resulting in the complete destruction of the lunar stronghold. As the debris from the moon rains down on Earth, we cut to Spider-Man swinging through New York City, his spider senses pushed to their limits by the chaos. While saving an elderly lady from falling debris, she informs Spider-Man that the devastation is not just limited to their location, but is happening all over the city. Although Spider-Man acknowledges that this situation is beyond his typical scope, he prepares to help as much as he can. At that critical moment, Reed Richards calls upon the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and the Avengers to assemble. Ever the strategist immediately begins formulating a plan. He contacts Shuri, Princess of Wakanda, known for having the most advanced sensors in the world. However, Shuri reports that they have detected nothing unusual and suggests that the moon's destruction might be a natural phenomenon. In contrast, Abigail Brand warns Reed that they believe this could be a preemptive strike, potentially the first wave of an alien invasion designed to weaken Earth's defenses. Reed initially considers this theory to be somewhat extreme until his defense systems trigger a warning. Alien craft are entering Earth's atmosphere, weapons armed and ready. At that moment, the invasion begins as Badoon ships descend upon Earth, unleashing troops armed with advanced weaponry of Watcher origin. Amidst the chaos, Valeria Richards notices the Badoon's advanced weapons raining down from the sky and quickly realizes that this technology is not their own. Seizing the opportunity, Sue and Reed manage to acquire one of the Badoon weapons, bringing it back for Reed to study. Upon Upon examining the weapon, Reed recognizes the technology as being of Watcher origin, confirming their worst fears. Realizing that the stakes are far higher than they initially thought, the Fantastic Four make a critical decision. While their allies fend off the invasion, the team heads to the moon to confront Uatu or find any clues that could explain the origin of this Watcher technology and the true nature of the threat they are facing. Earth's heroes remained oblivious to the looming threat until the Badoon destroyed the moon and launched an invasion of Earth. As the Avengers, X-Men, and other heroes defended the planet, the Fantastic Four set off for the moon, seeking answers from Uatu the Watcher. As they prepared to leave, they were confronted by Justice's love and peace from the TVA. The date checks out, time streams converging, confirming that the Reckoning War scenario had begun. The TVA agents were taken aback when She-Hulk recognized them, Justice Love recalling a moment from She-Hulk's timeline that made her chronally sensitive. Jack of Hearts, confused by Jen's conversation with seemingly invisible entities, questioned her sanity. "Is this the Reckoning War?" She-Hulk asked, remembering that Justice Love had once told her, "Everything happening is, was, and always will be your fault." The TVA agents could do nothing but wish the heroes luck before vanishing, leaving the Fantastic Four to face the coming storm. The Fantastic Four's journey to the moon was not without peril. After clearing the large lunar debris heading for Earth, they were ambushed by an unseen attacker. Using her powers, Sue revealed the attacker's identity, Nick Fury. They captured him, questioning how he survived in space without a ship or suit and why he was attacking them. Fury revealed that he was on the moon when it was destroyed, and in the chaos, he mistook the Fantastic Four for enemies. He informed them that the Badoon were just the beginning. There were bigger players behind the scenes, calling themselves the Reckoning. Desperate for answers, Reed Richards connected to Uatu's remaining Watcher technology, despite Fury's warnings. "I spent a year with the power of a Watcher," Fury cautioned. "I know things I wish I didn't, and the only reason I survived is because the Watchers wanted me to." But Reed, determined to understand the Reckoning, linked with the Cyclopedia Universum. As he connected, Reed's mind was flooded with the history of the Watchers, who were originally known as the Luminous. He saw the early days when the Luminous traveled the universe as beings of light, believing they could uplift other civilizations. But on planet Prosilicus, their first attempt at elevation backfired spectacularly. The Prosilicans repurposed the Watchers' gifts into weapons, becoming the Reckoning. Reed watched as the Reckoning brought the universe to its knees, leading to the First War and the deployment of the Ultimate Nullifier, a weapon that destroyed 9/10 of the universe. The Watchers, horrified by their own actions, took a sacred vow to only observe, never interfere, except for one moment. This moment is now. Reed realized as he came out of his trance, declaring, "I'm Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and I know everything." The Reckoning had been banished to the Barrens, a place of desolation beyond the Great Barrier erected by the Watchers. But now they have returned, seeking revenge on all realities. Armed with the Watchers' knowledge, Reed Richards returned to Earth with a plan. First, he borrowed a device from Alicia Masters to contact the Silver Surfer, modifying it to communicate with anyone in the universe. He used it to send Iron Man schematics of the Reckoning's armada, including the energy signature of their shields. He instructed Captain America to give his shield to Vance Astrovic, aka Marvel Boy, knowing that all Badoon feared the day Marvel Boy would wield that shield and defeat them. "Make today that day," Reed urged. Reed also called Jen Walters and Jack of Hearts to the Baxter building, preparing them for their roles in the battle. Meanwhile, he warned Moon Knight, "You're not just powered by the moon, you're Khonshu's Avenger. Avenge him." But not all went according to plan. Tensions ran high. Reed's drastic measures, including manipulating unstable allies, drew criticism from Nick Fury and Sue Storm. "This isn't you, Reed," Sue said, to which Reed replied, "It's a vastly improved me. There's no problem I can't solve." Johnny overheard this and demanded Reed restore his powers to normal and go fight Annihilus at the Spire, but Reed refused. "You're our most powerful weapon right now," he told Johnny, forbidding him from going to help Skye and her people fight Annihilus. But in his true hot-headed fashion, Johnny defies Reed, blasting off in rage to aid Skye. Reed knew this would happen and used it to his advantage. He had asked Jen and Jack to the Baxter building for this specific reason, equipping Sue with the Watcher cloaking tech to become undetectable like Fury. They would use the Forever Gate to get where they needed to go, but the gate had only 3 jumps left, meaning only one group could return. Reed, Ben, Jen, and Jack went to Shi'ar space to defend the Macron Crystal, while Fury went to T-37X, the Watcher's homeworld. The battle in Shi'ar space was fierce. When Reed, Ben, Jen, and Jack arrived arrived, they found brother and sister Rapture and Reject of the Reckoning had already defeated the Shi'ar guards and Gladiator. The Macron crystal was unprotected, and the Reckoning generals were unopposed. As they faced off against the Reckoning, Ben Grimm recalled a terrifying vision from the Griever, a vision of Rapture killing him. Reed, struggling with the overwhelming Watcher knowledge, informed Ben that he only had 3 days to live. Despite their best efforts, the heroes were outmatched, with Rapture fatally wounding Ben, and Reed used his abilities to physically hold Ben together, preventing him from dying on the spot, allowing Jack the time to cauterize his wound. As the battle raged, Wrath, the leader of the Reckoning, appeared. He chastised his generals for wasting time on meaningless creatures. Rapture and Reject regrouped and took the Macron crystal, with Rapture revealing they knew exactly where to go next, all thanks to Jennifer Walters. After discovering the truth about the Reckoning and their origins, Reed Richards knew the only way to confront them was to take the fight to their hidden stronghold. Using the abilities he absorbed from the Watchers, Reed could now transform himself and others into energy to traverse the cosmos. With this power, he led the group, Ben Grimm, She-Hulk, and Jack of Hearts, to a place known as Obscura Minor. Obscura Minor was a universal blind spot, a place cosmically invisible to even the Watchers. She-Hulk explained that as a cosmic judge, she had once deemed the planet's natural reclusivity a breach of privacy by the Watchers, leading to its cosmic invisibility. Now, it served as the perfect hiding place for the Reckoning. When the group arrived, they found the planet lifeless and desolate, nothing like the vibrant world She-Hulk remembered. They realized too late that this was where the Reckoning had been operating from, using it as a beachhead to launch their assault unnoticed. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Valeria Richards contacted Reed, informing him that the Baxter building had been invaded. She asked if she should activate Protocol Zero, a last resort measure. Reed, knowing the gravity of the situation, gave the order, destroying the entire Baxter building and the Forever Gate to prevent it from falling into enemy hands. When Reed told Ben all that happened and believing his family had been killed by Reed's actions, Ben was instantly enraged and tried to end Reed's life. Reed revealed this was a necessary deception. His family was safe, but this moment strained their relationship, with Ben vowing never to forgive him for the rest of Reed's life. And Reed revealed he only had 72 hours left. At Obscura Minor, Wrath, the leader of the Reckoning, appeared and confronted the heroes. He thanked She-Hulk for her past actions as a cosmic judge, which had unknowingly aided the Reckoning in concealing themselves for so long. A battle broke out, with the heroes struggling to hold their ground. Wrath easily overpowered She-Hulk and Jack of Hearts, smashing them against each other, a brutal tactic he reveled in. Back on T-37X, Nick Fury spied on the Watchers and learned that Uatu had not only failed to convince his people to take up arms, but had been imprisoned for his efforts. Fury decided to free Uatu from the seat of all knowledge at the apex of reality, where Uatu had been forced to watch a what-if scenario where the Fantastic Four defeated Galactus without his help. At first, Uatu believed he had been wrong to interfere until Nick Fury broke the controls on the seat, allowing Uatu to watch the rest of the scenario. He saw Reed's discovery of the zero energy that powered the ultimate nullifier, a discovery that cascaded out of control, destroying the entire universe. Uatu realized his people and father had lied to him, hiding the truth that without his intervention, the entire universe would have been destroyed. They were ambushed by Emnu, and after defeating him, Uatu connected with his memories and learned it was he who unleashed the ultimate nullifier. It was his people who destroyed 9/10 of the universe. This revelation shook Uatu to his core. Meanwhile, in the Barrens, Jack of Hearts was left fatally wounded after the fight with Wrath. She-Hulk's gamma energy couldn't stave off his injuries. Reed, knowing they were trapped in the Barrens, revealed that he possessed all the Watcher's abilities, including how to build a Forever Gate. But without an energy source, they were stuck. Fortunately, Jack of Hearts could tap into zero energy and agreed to stay behind to power the gate, allowing the others to escape. As Ben and Reed stepped into the gate, Jen refused to leave him, forcing Jack to use his last remaining power to blast She-Hulk safely through. Wrath had reached the Watcher's homeworld, T-37X, armed with Macran armor. He dropped just a sliver of it in the Watcher Council room, causing massive damage and turning the area into a micro version of the Barrens. The Watchers, who had long been indifferent to the suffering caused by their actions, now experienced firsthand the desolation that the Reckoning had endured for billions of years. At the apex, Reed, She-Hulk, and the Silver Surfer attempted to stop Wrath from entering the apex of all reality, the heart of all existence. Wrath, however, was too powerful. He easily cast them aside, leaving only Susan Storm in his way. "Your force fields are useless," Wrath mocked. "What will you do? Turn invisible?" But Sue had a plan. "Rapture's blades. I hear they're the Reckoning's deadliest weapons. Just imagine if you couldn't see them coming," she retorted as she lunged forward, stabbing into Wrath's armor before disappearing from sight. As Sue tried to hold back Wrath, Reed had a moment of clarity amidst the chaos. "No knowledge I've gained compares to meeting you, our children, our family," he confessed to Sue. But before they could fully reconcile, Wrath knocked Sue back, sending her flying. At that moment, Johnny Storm flew in, his body burning with the power of a sun. Wrath screamed in pain. "How did you get this power?" "It was Dr. Doom who gave him this power, making this possible," Dr. Doom tells Wrath. The battle continued as Rapture and the Thing clashed near Wrath. Rapture's hand was stuck in the wound she had caused Ben in their previous encounter. The Thing, with sheer determination, knocked her back. Meanwhile, She-Hulk struggled to hold Wrath back as Ben dove for the ultimate nullifier, the only weapon that could end the conflict. But before Ben could use it, Reed stretched in. "This is my burden," he told Ben. As Wrath reached the heart of the apex, Reed emerged between him and his goal. "I'm Reed Richards, smartest man in the universe, and I died knowing all there is to know." As he fired the ultimate nullifier, the weapon's power surged, nullifying not Reed's life, but the overwhelming knowledge of the Watchers that had burdened him. Reed was left weakened, but alive, free of the knowledge that had threatened to destroy him. As the Reckoning War reached its climax, the ultimate threat emerged: the Destruction, a monstrous entity born from the fusion of Galactus and the Asgardian Destroyer, now threatened to devour planet T-37X and the apex of all realities. The Fantastic Four, She-Hulk, Beta Ray Bill, the Unparalleled, the Starjammers, Guardians of the Galaxy, the Shi'ar, and countless other heroes launched a desperate assault, throwing everything they had at the creature. But their attacks only enraged it further. Skye, sensing the dire situation, flew down to Nick Fury in a last-ditch effort to evacuate him and Uatu. But Fury, seeing Uatu completely consumed by the pain and lies he had absorbed from the other Watchers, refused to leave. "Uatu is in no condition to travel," Fury said. "I'll stay with him as long as I can." As the ground began to collapse beneath them, Fury desperately pleaded with Uatu to snap out of it. But Uatu, overwhelmed, still couldn't close his eyes. Sue, Johnny, Ben, She-Hulk, the Silver Surfer, Dr. Doom, and the Cormorant discussed the aftermath of Reed using the ultimate nullifier. Wrath's armor, still charged and ready to explode, threatened to destroy not just the apex, but the rest of the universe. As they debated what to do, Reed suddenly awakened, freed from the Watcher's overwhelming knowledge. What the nullifier had truly erased was that burden, leaving Reed's human self intact. The group decided that the only way to prevent the destruction of all realities was to take Wrath's armor away from the apex. But before they could act, the Silver Surfer had another idea. He would feed the armor to the destruction. This bold move succeeded in not only destroying the destruction, but also safely disposing of the dangerous armor. In the aftermath, the cosmic entities Eternity, the Never Queen, and the Griever appeared, thanking Johnny and the Silver Surfer. "Because of your actions," they said, "the first war is finally over, and the universe lives on." The Watchers, however, had lost their sight with the destruction of their world. Yet, through absorbing all they had seen and fusing himself with the apex of all realities, Uatu had become something more, the one and only Watcher. He now saw every what if, what is, what could be, and what should have been. In this newfound clarity, Uatu realized that the Reckoning and the Watchers had caused unimaginable death and destruction. But instead of seeking vengeance or further interference, Uatu decided to rectify the wrongs. He used his immense power to cleanse the Barrens, transforming it into the Borderlands, a place of infinite possibilities. As the heroes watched, Uatu revealed that they already knew one resident of the Borderlands, Jack of Hearts, alive and well. As the cosmic balance was restored, Agents Love and Hope from the TVA appeared, marking the end of the Reckoning War and the Barrens, and beginning of the Borderlands. Also, the resurrection of Galactus. In this moment of renewal, Galactus rose anew. The Silver Surfer, recognizing the shift and urged by Eternity, approached his former master with a single question. "Do you hunger?" Galactus replied, "Yes, for knowledge of these new Borderlands, and I require a herald." The Surfer, however, declined being herald or guide, but offered instead to be a companion, and with that, they set off for new adventures. Uatu, having righted the wrongs of the past, made a solemn vow: "What the Reckoning and the Watchers made wrong will be righted, and thereafter I shall watch and interfere no more." As he returned everyone to their proper places, Rocket Raccoon quipped, "Sure you will, Baldy. We'll believe that when we see it," just before they vanished. Johnny Storm was furious that Reed couldn't remember how to fix his power control issues. Skye offered to take Johnny back to Spire, where she was confident they could find a solution. Meanwhile, the Cormorant found himself in Shi'ar space, where the Macron crystal had been fully repaired, with Wrath, Rapture, and Emnu imprisoned inside. The four of them would be its eternal watchmen. In the sub-basement of the Baxter building, Reed and Sue's children were stuck in thought space. Franklin, not wanting to leave, if Valeria left, the gate would disappear, leaving Franklin behind forever. forever. Reed and Sue pleaded with Franklin, telling him they needed him with them. They convinced him to return, but the only permanent change he made was turning his hair black. Reed wanted to destroy the gate because of the danger it posed, but Sue urged him to get a brain scan first, still worried about the Watcher's knowledge that had once been uploaded into his mind. Finally, Grimm and his family watched atop the Baxter building as Uatu began rebuilding the moon. Nick Fury asks about what to do with the ultimate nullifier. Uatu simply said, "I know no one better to keep an eye on it," leaving Fury with the moon and Uatu's old fortress as a new watchtower, and still the man on the wall, the unseen, and humanity's shield. And so, the Reckoning War came to an end. But the universe would never be the same. Heroes were tested, truths were revealed, and the cosmos itself had been reshaped. But one thing was certain: Uatu, the Watcher, would continue to watch over all realities, seeing what is, what should have been, and what could be.
I see you. There are universes beyond my own.
I have seen everything that has ever happened, ever will happen, ever could happen, and yet, what the hell is this?
Could the Watcher we've followed through the Reckoning War be more than just a silent observer of his universe? The subtle connections hidden within both the comic series and the animated What If show suggest something far more groundbreaking. What if Uatu is not limited to a single universe? What if he's watching over more than we ever imagined? In the Reckoning War, Uatu plays a vital role, stepping into the cosmic fray. His declaration, "I have seen all there is, was, and what ifs," is a key moment, one that hints at his perspective being far wider than any one universe. It's a cryptic line, one that doesn't just apply to the events of the story. This phrase begs the question: could Uatu be hinting at something much larger, his sight spanning beyond the confines of this universe? Is he seeing not just alternate outcomes, but perhaps entirely different realities? Here's where things get even more interesting. When we fast forward to What If Episode 8, we hear Uatu say something strikingly similar.
There are universes beyond my own.
I have seen everything that has ever happened, ever will happen, ever could happen, and yet...
The resemblance between this line and his words in the Reckoning War is no coincidence. But why is this important? Why does it matter that the Watcher in What If is speaking in nearly the same terms as the Watcher from the Reckoning War? The answer might be bigger than we think. As Ultron peers across the multiverse, breaching its boundaries, we see Uatu watching from a realm beyond, one that seems to connect all these realities. But could it be more than just multiverse observation? At first glance, it's easy to assume these are simply different versions of the same character. After all, it wouldn't be the first time Marvel has offered alternate versions of the same cosmic being. But the similarities between these two Uatus start to pile up. The phrasing, the knowledge of realities beyond their own, it feels almost like the same Watcher across these two mediums. Could it be that the Uatu we see in What If isn't an alternate version at all? This raises an intriguing possibility. What if these moments aren't just parallels, but proof of something much bigger? Could it be that Uatu, as we know him, transcends not just the events of one story or universe, but spans the entire multiverse, comics, animation, and beyond? The clues are there, but let's piece it together a bit more before we make the leap. Now, when we take a step back and look at the evidence as a whole, the theory starts to crystallize. Uatu's words in the Reckoning War and his dialogue in What If Episode 8 suggest a connection that goes beyond simple coincidence. This Uatu, the one who observes all that is, was, and what ifs, may not be bound to a single universe. Instead, we may be dealing with the same cosmic entity, one Watcher whose sight spans across the multiverse, witnessing realities in the comics, animation, and perhaps even more. Uatu isn't just the Watcher of one reality, he could be the Watcher of them all. If this theory holds true, it opens up endless possibilities for future Marvel stories. Uatu's presence as a multiversal observer could hint at a greater role in the What If series or other animated projects, guiding us through stories that connect the entire Marvel multiverse. Imagine a future where Uatu bridges gaps between universes, offering a window into every possible storyline, whether comic or animated. The evidence is subtle but undeniable. Uatu, the Watcher we followed through the Reckoning War and What If, may not be separate versions of the same character. Instead, we may be looking at a single, omniscient entity whose reach transcends the boundaries of any one universe. He sees all, knows all, and watches over every reality, from the comic page to the animated screen. screen. Now, if this theory got you thinking, you're not going to want to miss our other video on what if the Silver Surfer possessed the Infinity Gauntlet? What happens when the power cosmic meets ultimate power? Click here to find out, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let's keep this multiverse conversation going. Click here to explore more of the Marvel Multiverse, and we'll see you in the next one.